All right, everybody, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 2018. We are live, and we are excited to have all of you guys listen and tune in to the Eagle Eye Podcast Show. My name is Ivan, your host. Alongside with me is the great man himself, Mr. Dylan. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We want to wish you a happy late birthday. We know it was your birthday yesterday. We hope you enjoyed it and
Thank
had a
you.
good time.
Thank you. Yeah, I did have a good time, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast. Like I mentioned, this is our first episode of 2018. We're very excited to be able to bring to you guys a lot of new content. Of course, we have the Clausura coming up. We're going to preview that. We're going to give you all of our thoughts coming into the first game this weekend. And of course, there's a lot more to talk about later down the road. But we are excited to share with you guys our Twitter page, which will be in the description down below if you guys want to listen and if you guys want to follow us as well, we'll keep you guys as updated as we can on Club America. And the best thing about it, it's all in English for those of you who prefer the language that way. So, like I said, we got a packed show. We got a lot to go on, and we got a lot to do. So let's get started. Let's go through what we will be the most important part of everything. And let's just go and update everyone about what about the podcast first, and then we'll jump into everything that is Club America. So I think we're both pretty happy to announce that Tuesdays is gonna be the day to tune into the Eagle podcast.
Yeah, man. Tuesdays is gonna be good. Kind of like whenever we first started, this was kind of like up in the air. It was just kind of like happened all of a sudden. But like now we got to sit down and talk about it, and got to figure out my work schedule and everything like that. So like, yeah, man. Tuesdays is what's gonna work for us. And so we hope those of you that are watching, or whether you've come this far and you're listening, whether it be on SoundCloud or anything else that we're trying to get to, yeah, just look for it on Tuesdays, like we said, and we're gonna get it on Tuesdays, and whether something happens or not, we'll let you know with the Twitter page. And go follow us and everything like that. But yeah, we're excited to announce that it will be Tuesdays at 7 p.m. my time, which I'm Central Time. It'll be 5 for Ivan
Yeah,
and
5 Pacific
Time.
time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 8 o'clock Eastern time for any of you East Coast listeners. We're always happy to have every single one of you guys on our listening radar. So, like he said, thank you. Tuesdays are gonna be the day, so we will keep you guys updated if whatever reason we do decide to change that up. But that is a day that we think is gonna work best for all of us. And I know you mentioned SoundCloud. So keep your eyes peeled out to our Twitter page, because if we do end up going on SoundCloud, we will let you guys know right away. It should be absolutely amazing to be able to get more listeners through that platform, and then hopefully maybe make our way into iTunes, which should be absolutely amazing. So, got you guys updated on that. Just follow us on Twitter, either me, Dylan, or the Eagle Podcast. We will let you guys know no matter what. So, now that we got those formalities out of the way, let's talk Club America. Of course, a pretty busy off season, I would say, for the Aguilas. The last podcast we did we did it the day before the draft, which was a little bit crazy in the end. America made three movements at the end, and three movements were all players from Cholos. Of course, we did have a lot of players leave as well, but maybe not the players we expected or we wanted. Of course, Pablo Aguilar did end up leaving, which I just want to get your take. How did you feel when you saw that Pablo Aguilar was leaving?
I was pretty upset. It's just the guy that been performing week in and week out for us in the defense. It was just kind of saddening for me to see him leave and everything like that. So it's something that I didn't want to happen, but he wanted it. So like I'm glad for him too at the same time, and I'll always be a fan of him no matter what, because the things he has achieved here with America and stuff like that, and what he's brought to the platform for other defenders too, specifically possibly Edson Alvarez too. Edson probably learned from him too a little bit, and but overall, I feel like it's a pretty good move for him, but it just upsets me to see him go. But um, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll find somebody else to replace him. Hopefully, and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah, Yeah. I think every Americanista at the end of the day was a little bit shocked to hear the news that Pablo Aguilar was gonna end up leaving. I think everyone saw him as a person that could be a second captain, someone behind Oribe Peralta, and if, like you said, someone that would show great experience and had this knowledge to be able to teach players like Edson Alvarez and like Cedillo and like Carlos Vargas, someone that they could learn from. And, the fact that, he leaves in the way he left, I mean, it's not really sure, one side saying that he wanted to leave, that he forced himself out. The other side is, contradicting that, saying, no, there was an arrangement for me. And you can get lost in all those different stories. At the end of the day, the fact is he leaves the club and he goes to Cholos. And I'm pretty sure our friends down at the Cholo podcast are going to be happy to be getting Pablo Aguilar back, who, did not have the best time at Tijuana. And I'm pretty sure wants to, make up for that after Antonio Mohamed pulled him through to America. So he leaves. I think as a very decorated player. I think he won a couple championships with the side. He demonstrated that when in doubt you needed someone there, he was there. I think he was one of the few players that you could say, well, he didn't lose his mind. He was very calm. Obviously had plenty of experience. So I think that is going to hurt America in the long run. We are yet to see what Aguilera does for this side. We'll go into detail a little bit about the game against Toluca and Houston, and we'll see exactly. We'll talk about the new refuerzos, but for the most part, I think we're gonna miss Pablo Aguilar in the long run because he's someone who had adapted to not only the playing style of Piojo, but someone who already knew and adapted to what the colors meant and the crest and everything about that. So on that end, we're sad to see him go. But I mean, if you want to look at this on a positive note, he was getting on 30 plus. So maybe they wanted to cash in for someone a little bit younger. Still, I think at the end of the day, we just gotta hope that Pio Herrera knows what he's doing.
Yeah, right. I mean, like we still got players like like we said, Edson. You said Carlos Vargas and stuff like that. So we got some pretty good talent coming up too as well. And then we have Aguilera too, which possibly he can bring some experience. He can be that person to replace Pablo too as well.
No, yeah. Um, and here's something interesting. I want to take I want to see what your thought is in this. I mean, what would you opt out to buy someone? Like a better, stronger central player, or would you want to see more of the youth prospect just come through the ranks and give him more of the time and see what happens?
I would actually try to go with the youth. I would kind of like to see a little bit more of Carlos Vargas. Toward the end, toward the end of the tournament, last tournament, and in the Liguilla too as well. We see him stand out a lot too, and so we could see he can bring a lot to the table in the defense too, alongside Edson Alvarez, Paul Aguilar, and whoever Piojo decides to play that left back role, which probably something that we probably be discussing here in a minute because it's kind of up in the air for me a little bit right now because I haven't, I've only seen one preseason game and I'm not really for sure who would actually fill that spot. But we also got in the midfield too. We got Guido Rodriguez. We got Mateus Uribe, who's been standing out in the defensive mid role too as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Piojo decides to go with possibly Edson and Carlos right there in front of Marchesín this coming tournament.
Yeah. We'll definitely dive into what we think the formation is going to be and what players we think he's going to use a little bit when we get into the preview of the Clausura. And like you said, I think I just want to go back into the topic of people that left. I think Pablo Aguilar leaves. You know, he goes. People aren't happy about it, but not much you can do. But really, after that, the players that leave aren't really players that you were like, oh, wow, we're gonna miss them. And they were definitely not players that you were like, we need to sell him. For example, Silvio Romero. To this day that we are recording this podcast, he has yet to sign for another club. He's still an America player. Darwin Quintero, same thing we were saying, still has yet to proven himself. And for the meantime, looks like he's going to continue to be an America player. So, I mean, it's like these two players that you were hoping something happened within the transfer window of the draft now seem to be a little bit sketchy. And it looks like it's gonna be same old, and they're gonna stay on course with America. So, I mean, what are your thoughts at the fact that these two players are still on America's books?
I mean, I've kind of read some reports, that America are looking to lower their asking price of Chino Romero um into the club. What club? Do you remember what club it was that was gonna possibly buy him? Was it?
At this point, I think Independiente has the lead. I think they have. I think they've almost reached a formal bid to buy about 80% of the player's card.
Okay. Well, then, yeah. I mean, I've read that they're lowering their asking price. So, it's like you said, they're pretty close to the deal. So it's possible that he's gone. And then I thought Henry Martin looked pretty good. Next to Oribe. And then there's been a little bit of rumors in the air too that one striker from, I think it was PSV.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of up in the air right now for me about Chino Romero. I mean, it's just
you
see
wanted
what
to
he.
see. I mean, that's the question, really.
Well, no, I mean, like, no, not really. I mean, the way, like,
I mean, you can just say you're not
these
gonna hurt his
past,
feelings.
the past few tournaments. I mean, no, we expected so much of him, and then him not produce and everything like that. So I mean, like, no, I mean, I'm just ready for him to go.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of on the fence with Quintero, because like we said in previous episodes too. I mean, like, sometimes he's there, he's the Darwin Quintero that you want, and
Yeah.
sometimes he's just over here with like who is this person?
No,
So
I get
like,
that. I get that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm kind of on the fence about him staying or him going. I mean, that I wouldn't mind either one. It's just, I know later down the road, if he's gonna go back and forth, and then I'm gonna get mad about it, like, oh, he needs to go. I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like that probably sooner in the tournament, but I mean, like, right now it's just kind of up in the air. Like, I'm on the fence. Like, I would kind of care less if he left or stayed.
No, yeah, I get you. It's like, Darwin can start off the season like he did at the beginning and, show that he has productive talent, which, I mean, no one's going to question the fact that he's talented. It's just the fact that, I've mentioned this time and time again, there's no end product from the guy. He scored a couple of goals, yes, hooray, but I wanted to see more from the guy, especially towards the end of the season when things start to boil down. You know, it's just you want to see that from them, and it's frustrating to not see that from a guy like that. But you know, um, really, I just want to hear your take about the three. So we got three reinforcements, right? It was Henry Martin, Eric Aguilera, and no, sorry, not Eric Aguilera. Or is it? I can't remember the center back's name. But
Um,
the guy from Cholos, and then
yeah.
um, well, they're all from Cholos, and then Joe Benny Corona. So what are your thoughts about those three coming into the squad, and what did you feel like when you heard that they were coming to the team?
I was kind of a little bit excited for Joe Corona a little bit, like when we talked about whenever we heard about that, is this kind of at this point, do you have Joe or do you have Darwin? So like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I was pretty excited about Aguilera, to see what he can bring to the defense and everything like that, knowing that Pablo was going to be gone. And so, I'm not for sure about Henny Martin right now. I've just seen that one preseason game against Toluca and everything like that. So I mean, I'd have to see a little bit more gameplay. See them have a little bit more time to get a firm idea of like how it would work and everything like that. But I mean, I've read some things, and people liked how he looked next to Oribe and everything like that. So I mean, like, if they think that's a good fit, then I could possibly see him being a good fit too as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, Henry Martin's still on the fence. He had a good game. Ish, I would want to say he
Yeah.
seemed hungry. That's the thing I liked about him. He seems hungry. He seems like he wants to showcase that, hey, there is no real need to bring in another striker. I can be that player. At times, he's looked like he could be it, but it's only one game. I don't want to jump don't want to jump ahead to it. Um, because you just don't want to build up your expectations only to get them bursted at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
no, no,
uh
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't understand. I mean, it's just that we can't like some players might get hyped in one game, but then the next two games, he's either benched or he's not performing right. He's not performing to what they thought against like he did against Toluca and Houston. So I mean, like it's just kind of we have to take it a game by game basis to see how if he's really going to stand up to the test, being in the next partnership with Oribe.
I think you just described Cecilio Dominguez for everyone.
Yeah, I think so too. Now I think about it now.
No, I agree with you, and we'll go into the transfer rumor mill right now. But you know, I think the three players that come in, um, they're Piojo players. Let's just put it at that. They're Piojo players. They're people that he has a vote of confidence in because he worked with them previously, and they're gonna come in and they're gonna fill a role, just the way Juan Carlos Medina and Topo Valenzuela and Ruben Sambuesa came in from previous teams to this America side when everyone questioned exactly why these players were coming in. But at the end of the day, Miguel Herrera got them to be champions. And I think that's what you want to give them the benefit of the doubt again, that, this is going to happen again and we're going to be able to, to compete.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I mean, like, well, sorry, go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
I was just going to say, but at the end of the day, are they good enough to compare? Is that America squad good enough in comparison to the Tigres and the Monterrey squad? I think we're very far away from them.
Yeah, I mean, like like you said too, these players have worked with Piojo Herrera too. Whenever he had his time at Cholos too, and I was kind of looking forward to whenever we had brought Guido and Carlos Vargas into the squad. And Guido exceeded all expectations. He did good. Just the only thing that he lacked was his discipline. Which you get that yellow, and I can remember like 3 red cards that he got throughout the season too as well. That's something he's got to fix. And it's just a little bit disappointing on Carlos Vargas because I didn't really get to see him as much as I thought I would. Knowing that Piojo brought him and he's worked with Piojo and Piojo's given him his shot at Cholos, and so it makes me wonder too. Are these players gonna exceed? Is Piojo going to use them right? Is Piojo going to be able to place them in the necessary roles for them to thrive and for us to do better than what we did this past tournament?
You know what? I think, he brings in these players not only to fill in those gaps, but to be able to give more of a rotational sense because, of course, we do have the major competition of the champions, the Champions League in the CONCACAF region. Of course, the objective is to win it. Piojo Herrera said he wants to go to to the FIFA Club World Cup, and he wants to be able to get there. So he's gonna treat this competition just as important as the Liga. So I think, these players are going to be rotational wise. I could see maybe Joe Benny Corona starting here and there. Um, I could probably see the Argentinian center backs starting here and there too. Um, Henry Martin, I think it depends. It really just depends whether America is gonna splash the cash this January transfer window to bring in someone. And I think at the end of the day, if they do, Martin's gonna come off the bench. If they don't, then we're gonna see Henry Martin start against Soria Peralta, and hopefully they can be a good duo. If not, we're gonna have to pray and hope that Pio Herrera knows what he's doing. But and I like to think he does know.
Oh yeah, yeah. What we said too in the past episodes is like we've seen Piojo work his magic. Especially with his first stint with Medica. That's the where Piojo's trying to take us right now. And I understand the rotations, everything like that. With Champions League coming up and like that. And we've kind of seen that a little bit last tournament too. Is what we talked about. We've seen a lack of depth in the bench area too, like that.
Yeah,
Some players we'd obviously say was probably Ibarra and Lioness too. That's the only players we could really think of that would actually make an impact.
yeah,
Coming off the bench, and now we're starting to see some options. Whether it be Aguilera, whether it be Martin, or Joe Corona. We're starting to see a little bit of options. Starting to see that depth get built, and then whether we have players fresh for Champions League, whether we have players fresh for the tournament going into the Liga and stuff like that. So I mean, it's looking pretty good so far. It's just that thing like we say. Um, will Piojo know how to utilize them, and will he utilize them right? Which we think that he will.
Yeah, yeah, we're thinking it. We're hoping too, because we want to see this team go back to the way they were under Piojo Herrera in the first spell. So, um, you mentioned squad depth, and I'm about to read to you the list of names that have been linked to America. Because if we manage to get any of these players, I think our squad depth goes up just a little bit more. So, just gonna name them off the bat: Jeremy Menes, Luke De Jong, Leo Bautista, Andres Ibarraguen. Who else? Andres Ibarraguen. Yeah, I'll just name you those four players right there. Out of those four players, which one stands out to you the most?
Oh, really? Kind of just the first two, because I've never heard of the other two that you said. I haven't heard of those.
Okay,
So
so
yeah, I've only heard about Menez and Luke De Jong being linked to America. I've never heard of the other two that you mentioned.
Leo Bautista, like, to be honest, I don't even think Leo Bautista is an actual target for America. I think it's just someone who just randomly threw it out there just to get the papers going. But he's a striker for Espanyol. He's 24, 25 years old, Brazilian striker. He's pretty good. Um, his value is around the 5 million. So accordingly to transfer market, I don't know how viable that is. Which I mean would be more than America would be willing to pay for that.
Mm.
And the Colombian winger Andres, he actually played with Mateus Uribe at Atlético Nacional, and he ended up moving to Racing in Argentina, and he's become a star over there. And Cholos actually was in for the player as well. So the rumor was that both America and Cholos were going for the same player. And at one point, America had the lead, and then people were saying that Cholos had the lead. It's still kind of in the air, whether or not America's still in for the player or not. But I think the two most players that have sounded the most has been Jeremy Menes and Luke De Jong. What exactly have you heard of these two players in regards to America acquiring them?
I've heard about Jeremy Menez. He's been pretty close to agreeing to a deal. There's just a few minor details that they're trying to iron out in the contract, I heard, and that it's possible that he could be announced within the coming days or weeks. And the same kind of with De Jong too. He's I've seen that he's opened up and said that he's open to moving to Mexico, playing for America too. That he would like the idea of seeing how the league is played, how experiencing a different league and everything like that. Nothing really I've seen about contracts being negotiation or nothing like that about Luke De Jong, but just more about Jeremy Menez getting closer and closer to signing a contract with America.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been said that maybe the Frenchman was going to be announced this week. Whether or not he actually goes through with it, I hope they do. I hope they really do. I mean, Jeremy Menes would be the perfect upgrade to Darwin Quintero, because he can play on the wing, and he can also play up top. Which I think you get someone that versatile, it's gonna be awesome. We're I hope we can get him. I hope we can. And in regards to Luke De Jong, I think he's America has thrown in a formal bid. Now it's just whether or not PSV are ready to let him go. Hopefully they are, and hopefully they're willing to say, what, you go ahead and have him. I'm glad to hear that he's open to come to Mexico. I think that was one of the main concerns, was he gonna be a player that wanted to come and experience the league and kind of give himself a new change of lifestyle. And it sounds like he's all for it. And I hope he does come, because if he does, he's gonna be treated as a really good player if he can perform to the stature that he does over there in Holland. And if he can do that here in America, he's gonna love his time over here.
Yeah, I mean, like, kind of going a little bit off topic, you too, a little bit right here. But I mean, you've seen foreign talent, like um Gignac with the Tigres too. He's been kind of performing good and stuff like that. After that, you've seen just a little bit more interest from a few European players too that are wanting to come over here. And the league's obviously growing. With to come over here and play and everything like that. We've had foreigners, but like we've come from like South America really, and the United States, and domestic players too from in the Mexican league too as well. And so like it's good to see the league grow as a whole, and other players wanting to find out the lifestyle here and find the lifestyle in Mexico, and experiencing a different league other than something in Europe.
No, yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, wow, we really haven't had a player come from that is not Argentinian or South American, or or from the North or Central America. I think the last best player that I can come to mind that played that was not from Central or South America was probably Yeek, and he was from Africa. And I'm telling you, that's that was way ago. So I mean, it's nice that America can finally open up the window and kind of expand our objective. And I think it's good to see that that they're willing to splash the cash, and hopefully these are the right players to go for. What do you think the odds are that we end up getting both players? I know that Jeremy Menez is close. Luke De Jong is an option. At the end of the day, do you think we're only going for one, or do you think America's actually trying to go for both?
I can see both, which I'm kind of really hoping for. Especially since we talked about squad rotation. We're gonna have Champions League. We're gonna have the tournament to worry about, and hopefully going and pushing for the title. In the Liga, stuff like that. So I mean, both are gonna be great assets to the team, and especially possibly more of Jeremy Menez, because if we get Jeremy Menez, does this push Darwin Quintero to perform better? Does he finally open his eyes and see, hey, I've been inconsistent. I have my games, my good games. I've had my bad games, and I want to start having my good games. So is he gonna start pushing himself to produce? Is it gonna be that end product that you talk about?
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we're all excited to be able to think that these two players can come in and really, force competition in the squad. Um, you, where do I want to go with this? I personally think we're not gonna get both players. As I know that sounds horrible to think that way, but I just feel like we're only gonna really, you know, theoretically going for one player, and the only reason why is because we're gonna have the same problem we've had for countless of years. Too many foreign players. What happens? One of them, two of them, three of them have to sit out in the stands, and while only a couple, maybe one's on the bench. If not, they're all on the field, and it's just I can see it being difficult because we still have Silvio, we still have Darwin, we still have a couple of these players who we potentially wanted to get rid of, we haven't gotten rid of, and now it's like, well, what are we gonna do? We only have room for an X amount of players, and when is it gonna be? When is it gonna be? That new rule, what's
No,
that
it's
new
like
rule?
it's like 10-8 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The
yeah,
new
yeah.
rule where
It's this tournament. Yeah,
it's
it
this
starts
tournament,
this
right?
tournament. It
It
starts
starts
this
this tournament.
tournament.
You have to get a certain amount of minutes to a certain amount of players, young Mexican players,
Mhm.
and that's the question. Is like, when are we gonna find the time to fit those players in?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, and we've heard Piojo too say before that he wants more domestic players. He wants more Mexican players at America. So I mean, it does contradict like you said. Like that. But I mean, like, but I don't know. It's just like you said too. Where are we gonna find the time this time to field those players too like that? Especially with like the likes of Diego Lainez too, who didn't really see that much this tournament because he was gone to the U17 World Cup with Mexico, and he'd have his appearances here and there too as well. So like, how much time is he gonna get this tournament too?
Yeah, that's the worry. I mean, here's someone who has a whole bunch of talent. You can't really just throw him to the side and say, "Yeah, we'll play you here and there," because the kid's gonna get frustrated. You know, at that age, you want to be playing in and out. You want to at least be on the bench, and you at least want to be getting at least, at minimum 15 minutes. You know, so
Yeah, yeah.
I would want him to be a bigger process so he can finally start getting into the team and becoming a bigger role. But we'll have to wait and see. I know Piojo, like he said, he wants a lot of Mexicans to be part of the squad and minimize the amount of foreign players you have. Um, but it's funny, we talk about these two players and they're two attacking players, but there is one big gap that I know you've mentioned is the fact that we do not have a left back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of up in the air. And then you've heard the talks too about Miguel Ayun possibly coming back to America, and Cruz Azul has also been linked with him. But then I've also read reports that Porto just don't want to let him go. No, just despite whether he's playing or not, they don't want to. Well, they don't want to let him leave. So it's just kind of up in the air right now. If Miguel Ayun comes in, problem solved.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, who's going to fill that spot?
Yeah, and you know what? I think we should just be candid and kind of just accept the fact that Porto is not gonna let Miguel Ayun go.
Yeah.
Which sucks for the player. You feel for the guy because he meant a lot to the Americanismo. Um, and you don't like to see the guy struggle because no one wants to see that guy struggle. And after everything he's overcome, for him to just kind of be you know fading away into the background at Porto, it's just not what he's meant for. Um, hopefully Miguel Ayun can find his way out of there. If hopefully it's this transfer window because the guy's gonna need game time if he's gonna be fresh for the World Cup. But that's gonna be for another topic. I think at the moment the left back position, I think it's between two players, and I think we're not gonna go for anyone. I think Piojo Herrera is gonna put a lot of confidence in Carlos Vargas, which I'll ask you right now how you feel about him playing in that position, and the youngster Aldo Cruz. I'll also ask you about him. First, I want to ask you, Carlos Vargas. What is your take about Carlos Vargas playing left back? Do you rather see him play in that position, knowing that he's gonna get more game time, or would you rather see him play in his, I guess, natural position, which is a center back?
Well, I mean, you guys also got to think too. Well, Piojo changes tactics a little bit, just to have Carlos Vargas play the supposed left back position. As the way I'm thinking, we've seen Bar Aguilar, push so much up the field, because he's such a energetic player to me. Always going back. I'm going coming back whenever he's pushing up, and he's always pushing forward. Making some dangerous runs and everything like that. So I mean, is it possible that Piojo pushes him up so much that it could be a three-back line whenever they're attacking? Maybe
Um, yeah,
it's just something to kind of think about. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna happen, but I mean, like you see Aguilar, push so much sometimes. And then I've seen kind of like heat maps, and like he's just up and down that right side, in red, like that. So like it's just kind of it's kind of debatable depending how Piojo decides to utilize that, knowing that Carlos is naturally a defensive back, stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind it just to see him get that playing time. Maybe who knows, maybe he can be as versatile and adapt to. And he can play left back and center back.
yeah, kind of the way it's Alvarez has had to learn how to play center back, center defensive mid, and right back for
Yeah.
Osorio.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So I mean, like, who knows? Maybe Piojo sticks with the back four. Maybe Piojo pushes Barguilad so far up that maybe it's three back. I mean, like, who knows? I mean, we just have to wait to see how it turns out. In the first game.
no, yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, what about how much do you know about Aldo Cruz? Let me tell you that much.
I've only seen him, a couple games. Well, I wouldn't say a couple games because like I've kind of have like this faint memory. I'm gonna be really honest with you. Like I don't remember much of him, so I can't really give you like my big opinion about him, stuff like that. It's just just one, possibly one game. I can't remember. He did pretty good to me, but I mean, like, I can't really give you much about Alo Cruz right now.
No, yeah. I mean, for those of you who wonder about Arlo Cruz, naturally a left back. Gotten, the first time you actually see the guy is in the Liga match against Cruz Azul, where Miguel Samudio needs to get taken off. Um, which you saw very little of him, but he looked like he was decent. Um, then gets a little bit more playing time this preseason. Obviously, we weren't able to watch the first game of America. Obviously, that wasn't televised, not even in Mexico. Um, but we did see him in the second game against Toluca in Houston, which he looked good. But again, it's only a friendly. You can't read too much into that. And we'll talk about that friendly right now too. We'll see what we can take out of that. But so far, I think Aldo Cruz is definitely someone that could come in and do a good job. But he's gonna be one of those players where, like you said, take him game by game, kind of ease him into the project instead of just kind of chucking him in there because, like we know, that always isn't the best option. And I think whether or not Piojo will tweak his formation around to suit, we'll have to wait and see. Um, I'll talk about what I think his formation is going to be a little bit later on when we start previewing what we think the Clausura is going to go for America. But I think just to wrap up what we were trying to say, so we like Jeremy Menes. We think he'd be a good addition. We like Luke De Jong. We hope that both players come in. Um, you know, Whether or not America gets any other players from that, we'll have to wait and see. I doubt we're going to get a left back. I think that's pretty much it. I think we're going in for those two players, and I think that's going to be final. At the end of the day, will we get both of them? I hope so. Like you said, I think we're only going to get one. But pretty much, I think we can go off that basis that um, we can try to hope for the best, but I think we are going to be missing a gap right there in that left back position.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, like you said, just coming down. Like, who knows? Maybe he does start Carlos Vargas in the left back position, and then maybe he'll give Alo Cruz like 30 minutes, yeah, switch now with Carlos Vargas and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah,
just kind of just letting him ease in into the game and stuff like that, and maybe one day he'll actually get a start. Like you said, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can't read much into a friendly. He looked pretty good, decent stuff like that. But I mean, it's just a friendly in the end. Just have to wait to see whenever the tournament starts.
yeah, that's true. But now that you mentioned friendly, let's just go into that friendly. I know you watched the friendly. I did as well. I didn't text you throughout the game because I wanted to kind of just you know uh, get ask you and get that response firsthand and see how we both react to it. Um, at the end of the day, scoreline is 4-0. What do you are you happy with the game result? You think the scoreline was fair? What exactly were your thoughts about the game?
First off, we gotta talk about them first 30 minutes because I was not happy with them first 30 minutes.
Yeah. I'm
uh,
glad you went
I
through
was just
that.
like, oh, I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know, just to see that happen, I just a friendly, but like my hands were sweating. Like, I for some reason, I started to feel the nerves come on. I was like, it's just a friendly. Why am I feeling like this?
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
yeah, it was, oh man, it was everywhere, just everywhere. Like, I don't know what was going on in the first 30 minutes, man. I was like, it's like it's gonna happen again. The season's gonna come.
Yeah. You're like, wait, we're gonna start off where we
Yeah,
ended.
yeah, no. And so I don't know. And then I after the first goal, I thought that things started to go a little bit smoother. Things started to link up a little more, in my opinion. But no, I mean, if we don't include the first 30 minutes, just kind of
Push those to the side.
squeeze it. Yeah, just push it out the view of my camera to camera. And I know, I mean, it was a decent game. We've seen um we saw some good stuff after the 30 minutes. You saw some pretty good stuff. I mean, I was surprised to see Chino and Meadow score.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, well, he could have had a hat trick. too.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, overall, for including the 30 minutes, it was average to me. Like, and there's room to improve. It's a friendly too,
Yeah, I guess
but
the old
I
saying goes
mean,
right. Yeah, you can't read too much into these friendlies.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but like, I mean, who knows? Then again, it wasn't necessarily like our strongest 11 either, in my opinion.
Really? Well, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that.
yeah,
There was no Edson starting off. There was no Cecilio Dominguez starting off. Um, I think like you said, yeah, you can't really read too much into it. I think everyone was kind of scratching their head at the first 30 minutes, like what is going on? Why can't we give a decent ball up front? And why does it look like our defense is literally melting when it's super cold over there? It was frustrating to see that because you're just like, well, great, here we go again. It's like it's time and time again. You expect better things from this team, and they tend to let you down. And I'm just happy that I don't know what happened after those first 30 minutes, but something clicked. We started scoring left, right, and center in in the space of like what 15 minutes we already had three goals. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you spend 30 minutes on the defense, not being able to pass your halfway line to scoring three goals right before the half. It's just it's crazy, but it happened. And I think we can't read too much into it. I think it was just a friendly. It's like one of those games. If you play, for those of you who play Sunday League, well, you guys know how it goes. Like, your team may be the one that's constantly getting bombarded with shots and shots for like the first 40 50 minutes of the match, and then your team goes on and scores like eight. It makes no sense. It's just it is what it is sometimes in a game where the stakes are not as high. And then you go into the second half and you score another goal, but then you see America miss chance after chance after chance. But again, you can't read too much into that. It's a friendly. The players are probably like, we're winning 4-0, whatever. So, it's and you can't read too much into it. And I think for those people who are like, yeah, this America team look great. Henry Martin looks like he's gonna be a good player. It's like it's whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's hold our horses down. It's one game, two at the most. I mean, we can't really say much about the first game. We can't. We don't know what happened.
yeah,
Um, but let's calm it down. We won't really know what happens. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks into the new year, maybe we can get a sense of what this America team is going to look like or be like. But it's a friendly. You can't think too much about it. The Toluca players too. I mean, how much effort were they putting into it after being 3-0 down? It's like you can't really read off of that, and you can't really go off of that. It could give you great moral, uh, you know, uh, a moral boost going into the season, but you can't really hang on to that and say, this is gonna be us. We're gonna be winning 4-0 against everyone. It's not gonna happen. It's not realistic. But I think at the end of the day, it's only a friendly. We can say a couple things here and there, but what's the point really? It really just was for entertainment for what I think.
yeah, yeah. I'm just kind of give you an idea of maybe two kind of like, oh, like this is how it's gonna line up. We kind of seen the basis of kind of like what formation Piojo's gonna use too as well. So going into Michigan's Querétaro coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you know what? Let's talk formation. Let's talk. What do you? I'll give you the basis of what I think he's gonna go with, and then you can either you can agree with me or you can disagree with me, and you can go on and say what you think Piojo's gonna do. But I think for the most part, we're gonna see something similar to what he started the Apertura with. I think he's gonna go with a 4-4-2. My starters for this Querétaro game coming up, I think it's gonna be Marchesín in goal. We're gonna see Paolo Aguilar right back. We're gonna see Bruno Valdez at center back. We're gonna see uh, Aguilera at joining Bruno Valdez in center back. We're gonna see Carlos Vargas at left back. We're gonna see William da Silva and Mateus Uribe uh, at the center midfield. Or actually, no, scratch that. We're gonna see Joe Benicorona and Guido and no, excuse me, not Guido. and Mateus Uribe at center back. Center defensive mid. We're gonna see Renato Ibarra on the right mid. We're gonna see William da Silva on the left, and we're gonna probably see Henry Martin and Uribe Peralta up top. So that's my 4-4-2.
Okay. Okay. Oh shoot. Now that you said it, I completely forgot about Valdez too. I don't know why. Like he just kind of like slipped my mind. Like I forgot that he was still with the Medica.
Yeah.
And so now I feel silly not even thinking about that. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. 4-4-2. We spoke before that. Like we go ahead and now go to formation. But yeah, obviously Marchesín in goal. Aguilar at the right back. Aguilera, and I could see Bruno Valdez too. But I mean, I would kind of like to see Edson too more. Maybe
Well,
you're
I
right.
mean,
Maybe.
Edson and Guido can't start because of the red card.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah, that's if
completely
not, I would
forgot
have had
about.
them. I mean,
Yeah, that's
they're
right.
starters.
I forgot about the red cards. Ah, shoot. Okay. Then Bruno Valdez too. Yeah, and then Carlos Vargas obviously left back. Mateus Uribe. I mean, yeah, basically the same formation you got too. I mean, the same lineup and everything. I mean, I completely forgot about Edson and Guido's red card.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I mean, we'd see a whole different lineup. I mean,
Yeah.
things maybe the formation even changes, but I think he's comfortable with that 4-4-2. I mean, you saw it during both preseason games. I think that's the one thing you can take away from really is the fact that Piojo is really liking that 4-4-2. Why is it that he switched all of a sudden to a 5-3-2 towards the end of the Apertura? I forever will not know if it was working so perfectly, but it looks like he's happy to go with that back to that 4-4-2, which I mean, granted, it showed to work, and hopefully, the players can respond to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned, the two red cards that I completely forgot about. I mean, I think this lineup is gonna work great. It's just, we're gonna have to need that fire. Because I mean, you lose to Querétaro twice.
Yeah.
Last term and in the preseason, and then also in the beginning of the tournament too.
Yeah.
And so that fire is gonna be there. Like, oh, we need to come out and beat these guys. Because we've already lost to them twice. And before the start of the tournament and the first game of the tournament too as well. So yeah, I can see this working. I'm kind of excited to see the partnership between Henry Martin and Uribe Peralta too as well. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I like this. I like this possible lineup that we predicted to, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll just see Sunday, whenever they announce it.
No, yeah. I completely agree with you. Well, let's let's go into previewing what is the first game, which is against Querétaro, and we'll give an overview of what we think the Clausura is gonna have in store for America. Obviously, Querétaro is the first game, but let me read to you the following two games that go after the Querétaro game. So it's away at Querétaro, then it's at home versus Pachuca, then we're away at Pumas. So those are our first three games of the season. And looking, taking a step back away from everything and kind of just observing it from the far. Those are our first three games, and let me tell you, they're pretty tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You're away. You're on the road 2 out of those 3 games, too, and so it's something. Sometimes, most cases, it's not ever easy going away and getting 3 points. So I mean, it's gonna be tough, and after this first game, we'll get the likes of Guido and Edson back too as well. So 2 assets to the team that are gonna be needed, despite the fact no matter how they finish last term, both teams could come firing out and possibly beat us, But to me, it's just finding that formation. So we'll kind of see after the first game against Querétaro, how possibly the next game against Pachuca go, and then obviously after that Pumas. But I mean, it's just we got to come firing out, especially against Querétaro, knowing that we lost to them twice in the preseason last tournament too.
Yeah, and I guess it wouldn't help to let you know that we're going up against a Querétaro with a Miguel Zamudio, with an Edson Puch, as reinforcements as well.
Hmm.
So I mean, this is a Querétaro that's bolstered their feathers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I was kind of like, to me, going a little off topic, I was kind of disappointed to see how Booch played with Pachuca, and for him to already go like that. But I mean, like, who knows? Maybe Booch will come out firing too and showing that Pachuca missed out on a good player too as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, poor Booch. I mean, he's been stricken by injuries ever since coming to Mexico, which is unfortunate. I mean, he had a great spell at Necaxa, wasn't able to do much at Pachuca because of his injury. I mean, his injury left him out of the Club World Cup roster for Pachuca. So, unfortunate events for him, but I think I could definitely see an Etsa Booch with a lot of fire inside of him, looking to really showcase that he has talent, and he's obviously not, he doesn't have a World Cup, unfortunately, to showcase his talent for, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna want to stay in on the national team radar.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and I'm pretty sure he can. No doubt that he can.
Yeah, and of course, kind of a homecoming for Miguel Zamudio when he plays against America. So should be interesting to see how America can go up against them. Like we said, we have two pretty big gaps in the team with the likes of Edson and Guido gone for that one match. Who do you think? I think you mentioned it, right? I think it's going to be Henry Martin and Rio Peralta that maybe kind of have to step up in this game.
Yeah, more specifically to me is going to be the likes of Oribe. That's our captain. I want to see him. Bring the same level of leadership, if not more leadership, to this team. After a disappointing Ligia run, scoring no goals at all in the last Ligia. I want to see him. I'd like to see him score or assist a goal, because by doing that, he's showing that he can still contribute to the team. And I talked about it all in the previous episodes too. I mean, it's just where's the finishing? Where's the end? And like you said too, the end product to finishing and scoring goals. And he was our leading goal scorer in the last tournament too as well. And so I want to see him step up a little bit more, if not at the same level that he's playing at right now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure he has a monkey on his back that he's ready to get rid of, but um, we'll have to wait to see too. What is Piojo's plan to go up against Querétaro? I mean, is he gonna be a little bit offensive off the bat? Is he gonna he's gonna soak in some of the pressure? We're gonna have to wait to see what the boys are gonna be instructed to do out there on the pitch. Um, you, you mentioned two of these games are away from home, which we know it's Querétaro's never been an easy place for America to go to. Our most recent affairs there have not left us with a very good taste in the mouth, um, as well as Pumas. So I mean, these are two places that are very tough for America on paper, and have showcased that we do not do the best at these two in these two platforms. My question is though, with America being, as they were one of the best away teams in the Apertura, do you think that they can kind of piggyback off of that and say, well, we did in the Apertura, why not do it here in the Clausura as well? And, do you have hope for America to get at least six, if not all 6 points, then 4 points on the road in the opening three
Yeah,
matches?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would kind of, I mean, a draw against Canada wouldn't be so bad, considering like you said, their bad phases there, and in Querétaro too as well. But I mean, like, four points wouldn't be bad, but yeah, I would want all six. I want all 6 points. I want to start off this season strong. Especially with you know the additions we've talked about. And we I feel like, to me, I feel like the team that we had last tournament, I feel like we've built on that a little bit, especially you saying some going into a little bit of rotations and everything like that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't mind 4 points, but I really really want them to push for those 6 points. 6 points is ideal out of those two road games.
Not bad, not
Especially, yeah, especially the way that Cecilio Dominguez humiliated Zaldivar in goal with that Panica goal and the penalty.
bad.
Yeah, I don't, I definitely want them to beat Pumas again like that.
Yeah. Maybe not so close, but yeah, I'd want to
Yeah,
see.
not so close though. Yeah.
It's a clásico, of course, when you talk about Pumas, and we'll have a whole preview for that once that game comes
Yeah.
rolling around. Um, you want the points against your arch rivals. Pachuca, of course, we're at home. We're always expected to win at home. Actually, doing it is another story, but you'd expect America to get the 3 points against a Pachuca side. And Querétaro, you said a draw isn't that bad, I think, but considering all in all, Querétaro's reinforcements were lacking 2 players. We still yet to see if we're gonna bring in another striker or not, and but I still think we have the squad to get the result. And just like you said, I think at the end of the day, will America, roll out in victorious form out of Querétaro, or will they be going home with empty-handed, or possibly wanting more points? It's really up to them. Hopefully, Piojo has it right. I know today was the first day that the boys were back in Coapa training. I think they should. I think they're gonna leave to Querétaro on Saturday, and yeah, it should be interesting. And like you said, you want a strong start because you have people like the two teams from Monterrey, Tigres and Monterrey. They're both gonna be starting their clausura strong. There's gonna be other teams like Cruz Azul with now Pedro Caixinha, Chivas. They got themselves a couple reinforcements. So you want to be at the top of that pecking order after those first 3 games.
Yeah, and like we said too, none of these teams can be taken lightly. Despite the fact how bad of a tournament Pachuca and Pumas had last year. No, last tournament too. I mean, but just the whole season. The whole season can be taken lightly. And like you said too, I feel like we still have the same strong squad that we did. And then it's just coming down to who wants it more. It's just coming down to who's going to play, who's going to stand out week in and week out.
No, yeah. Well, I think that's a pretty good preview right there. Querétaro versus America, ladies and gentlemen, is Sunday, 4 p.m. my time, 6 p.m. your time, and 7 p.m. Eastern time. Should be an interesting one. I think it's going to be going through Univision. Not sure exactly what branch, whether it's Deportes, Unimas, or literally Univision. Um, so make sure you guys stay tuned. To follow us on Twitter. We will be having, kind of like a live tweet going on during the whole game, kind of giving our reaction, kind of giving our thoughts on the page there. So we'd expect 3 points. What is your prediction for the game on Sunday?
Uh, I'll go with 2-1 win America. 2-1 win America.
2-1 win. You know what? I'll take that. I'll go 2-1 also. Hopefully, you know, get Oribe Peralta on the scoreboard.
So too, a goal and assist, like I said, we'll spark Ariba. Like I said before, he's our captain. I want to see his leadership throughout the whole tournament. We gotta have it, especially the way we finish the Ligia. We gotta have it. It's got to be there. I mean, he can't show anything less. He's got to have the same level of leadership, if not more. Bringing it to the squad, showing the squad that he will provide the leadership and that he can lead us too as well.
Ideally, yes. That is what we expect from and hope for Oribe Peralta. So, what do you think? What is a fair objective for America this clausura in regards to the stands? How high do you want them or expect them to get?
I'd say about either top four, top five
Top four, top
finish.
five. I think that's
Yeah.
that's fair, and many people would think, what, top five? I mean, we finished top three, and why would you want to finish in the top five? It's and I'd be okay with it because, of course, we have the Conca Champions League to also attend to, and I think that's gonna merit its own attention, which could mean we suffer a little bit in the league, but as long as we finish in the top five, or as long as we finish above Chivas, I'd be happy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Piojo and everybody else is gonna want a better Ligia run too as well.
Yeah.
At the moment, you said the objective is to win the Champions League too as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Piojo's just worried about making the Ligia. and possibly just making the run in the Ligia too as well. Whether it be at 8th and still in the Ligia. But I mean, more ideally, everybody wants to see a high finish too as well. But I mean, it's possible that we suffer a little bit in the league too because of Champions League. But I mean, at the end, everybody wants both, but it possibly could come down to just either one,
Just one.
having one or the other. Yeah, just one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If I was to ask you, what do you pick? League Cup, a league title, or the Conca Champions?
I would like to see the Conco champions. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to see
Yeah. I
champions.
think I'd be
I
happy.
like to.
I'd
Yeah,
be
I like
happy
to
if
see this team go back to the Club World
go go
Cup.
go
Yeah.
go. Yeah. 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 I'd prefer Conca Champions League title over the Ligamx. If we make it to the semifinals and we lose again, but we end up being champions in the Conca Champions, I think it salvages the league, the season.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think all right, so we're both in agreement to that. So, um, I guess we're pretty much wrapping it up here. I guess one last question: if you can only pick one, who are you picking? Luke De Jong or Jeremy Menace?
I said Jimmy Menes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Menace is Dylan's pick. You know what? I'd go for the Frenchman too. I think he's a little bit more versatile than the Dutchman. He can add a little bit more flair to the game. So that's been our preview for the Querétaro match, and as well as kind of a recap of everything we missed since we kind of took our little vacation at the end of 2017. We're welcoming the new year with this brand new podcast with a whole bunch of exciting things to come. And hopefully, all we can really hope for is your guys' support and for America to not let us down. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. I just want to give out a special thanks to Dylan for making it out here again. We're always welcome and graced by your presence here at the podcast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. It can be possible if we both haven't gotten together. So props to you too, man. We just collabing together. Getting some things together. And like we said, guys, there's more to come. You just kind of stay tuned. Follow us. Whether you subscribe to Ivan or you follow us on Twitter. Whether it be the official Eagle Eye podcast page or whether it be one of our pages that you follow. But yeah, man, just stay tuned. There's more to come. Just know that we're working. It's gonna be consistent too this time because I'm gonna have a little bit more free time. I'm able to put this in between my academics, my work schedule, and everything like that. So I'm really working hard on this. This is actually something I'm going to school for. It's something I want to do, and so I'm really focused on this and bringing out the best content that I can bring out, and we can bring you too. And not just me, but both of us too. We want to make this very special for everybody.
That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. We are trying to be the dream team for English language content whenever it comes to America, and of course, we'll have everything up to date with the Mexican national team. Of course, it's 2018, it's World Cup year, so I know everyone's excited about that as well as we are. A lot of things happening, so yeah, stay tuned. Like I said, follow us on Twitter. Make sure you guys follow my man Dylan right there. I'll have everything in the description down below. Follow us on our official Eagle Eye podcast page, where we were giving a lot of updates about the show, about America, every news that you could possibly think about, and just interaction with every single one of you guys. So if you guys ever have a question, any kind of doubt, just just shoot us a message. We're always welcome to an open conversation, and we're excited. We're our end product, our goal is to be able to bring you guys the best content possible. And we all we ask is that you guys just listen and tune in for as much as possible. So again, we want to thank you guys for making this all a possibility. And again, keep an eye out on our page. We will have plenty of things for you guys to kind of just follow through there. And keep you guys eyes out for the game this Sunday. Should be interesting. Again, like we said, against Querétaro. But I think that's pretty much wraps up this show.
Yeah, unless you got something to add, I don't have anything else to add unless you want to add something else real quick.
Nope. I think we're good. Again, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Like I said, follow us on Twitter, and hopefully we can hope for the best. So thank you, Dylan. Thank you to everyone that tuned in to listen. And like I said, until next time, guys, take care.